What if one of the most common techniques in manifesting is actually stopping you from creating the life that you want? The idea of being incredibly detailed and vivid with our intention setting is central to the law of attraction. But if those details aren't aligned with your soul's highest expression, then you could be spending a lot of time and energy on something that's not going to shift you into your highest timeline. In this video, I'm going to share the missing step that makes sure you're not going to go down a rabbit hole, and instead you're going to put your energy into creating soul-aligned abundance. Let's start with, what do we even mean when we talk about soul-aligned wealth? Now, your soul is a higher authority than your mind or your ego, right? This is a timeless aspect of yourself which is far greater than anything that you have or you don't have, far greater than anything that you've done or you haven't done. And when you align with this high soul expression, everything else starts to fall into place, because the light of your soul wants to project your reality into existence. Okay, my cat has just come to confirm this fact, right? So when you align with the soul, other things fall into place. So let's say that you are working on manifesting a financial breakthrough, or getting greater peace and resolution in your relationships, or perhaps you want to heal a long-term health condition, or even just a health irritation, right? When you align with what your soul wants to express through you, it's much easier for those things to happen naturally, just as a result of being in that frequency, being in that alignment. And that is where I really want to encourage you and all of us to manifest from, because it's going to make sure that whatever you're manifesting is fully in alignment and is for your highest good and for the highest good of all. I've done a lot of work on visioning and intention setting and calling in the reality that I want, but I want to give you one example that is not the conventional do it in a very detailed way, and explain to you why this helped me so much. A few years ago, when I was doing a lot of visioning work with a transformational coach, there was this one mantra or affirmation or heart's desire that came to me, and it has never gone. A lot of the time I find that affirmations and mantras sort of have a lifespan, or like a shelf time, you know, they go off after a certain period of time, they don't feel as potent anymore. But this particular one has never left me, and it's this: I am a powerful leader of New Earth. Now, when this came to me in meditation, I didn't really even know what New Earth was. I didn't know what being a powerful leader meant, but there was something about that phrase that resonated with me on the level of my soul, in the sense of my awakened heart. It was present, it was real, it was vivid, even though it was somewhat abstract. And this one phrase, which sits on a post-it note in a drawer right by me all the time, it's kind of become a North Star for me. And what's been amazing about it is that it piqued this curiosity, you know, this wonder, what could that be? What am I evolving to become? Yeah. And so even though it's not the traditional method of being very vivid and detailed about the kind of business I want to create, or the kind of body I want to have, or the financial breakthrough, you know, the exact numbers I want to call in every month, I have still found it incredibly powerful. And I know it's because that one wish, that deep soul expression, struck a tuning fork for my life. And so within that, when I do set intentions and goals, I can do that from a place which is deeply, deeply aligned. And I know that it's setting the right context for all of my activities to happen in. When we try to manifest from the mind only, we might end up putting a lot of detail onto something that's not actually going to be for our highest good. And we can't always know the bigger picture, right? The universe, the soul, source, the divine, it has a much more expansive vision than we can actually conjure up in our minds. And you know, there's this very common idea that if you can't imagine it, you can't manifest it. And again, there is truth in that. But there's also the magic of realizing that you might not be able in your human capacity to fully conceive of all of the things that are possible for you in your highest timeline. Wow, my cat's really, really getting stuck in with this today. Please release my jumper. Edward Mannix calls this creating from our wounded craving center, right? When we are trying to call things in that actually aren't for our highest good, it is not coming from a place of soul alignment. Your soul's highest expression never wants you to be stuck or to find things difficult or to create situations that aren't actually beneficial for you unless there's some kind of karmic lesson to receive in that experience, right? So if you create from the wounded craving center, things might not actually come in at all, or you might not be able to hold on to them, or they might not actually end up serving you, even though your mind and your ego thought they were what you wanted. Now you might be thinking, well, what the hell is my soul's highest expression? How do I know what that is? The soul will show you what it wants through peak experiences. I remember going on this amazing coaching program, and one of the things we had to do at the beginning to align with our soul's purpose was to look back over our life and write down 4 or 5 peak experiences. You know, those moments where you really felt so much joy, so much gratitude, so much flow, so much connection. And to give you a couple of examples, one of those was a moment of connection with nature. I was in the ocean in the Caribbean, and this sunlight hit the ripples of the water, and it was just the most incredibly blissful, divine moment of connection. And I felt that my soul was speaking to me in that moment, and I also felt that the soul of Mother Nature was speaking to me in that moment, and just that sense of bliss gave me a clue about my purpose, which is to be connected with source, to be connected with nature, to be in gratitude for the moments of divinity and ecstasy that we can have in very simple moments of contemplation. Another moment was when I was young. I was a dancer and I dreamed of being a ballerina, and there was one time when I had the opportunity to be the lead ballerina in a performance in a theatre where I lived, and I remember stepping out from the darkness of the wings into the light and performing in a way where I felt so in the flow, so able to express my deepest soul's desire to make these graceful movements, to be in alignment with the music, to be performing for other people, to bring beauty to the earth. And again, it gives me a clue. I'm here, I'm showing up, I'm making content because I actually love to communicate with people. In the past, it was through dance, now it's through language, it's through words, it's through energy. But these things show you what your soul wants to express through you. So I would really recommend that exercise. Take some time to write down 4 or 5 moments in your life where you felt in a peak experience, and just ask yourself what it was about that your soul was trying to show you, and what signals can that give you for what you want to do in your life now. Now, the ego or the mind is going to often sort of give you suggestions of things to focus on, but it does have a limited perspective, doesn't it? Because, you know, first of all, it thinks that you are a body. It thinks that the earth is a resource to be mined. It perhaps tells you that you are not already worthy, or that you are not already loved, or that you do not already belong. And so it's going to suggest things that perhaps focus a bit more on external validation, or accumulating objects, or achieving things in order to feel validated or superior or something like that. But when we actually look at what people regret in the last moments of their life, they are never things that are to do with like material objects or achievements in that sense. There's a very famous study that looks at the regrets of the dying, and the 5 things that they said they regretted the most were wishing that they'd not worked so hard, regretting living a life that was not true to themselves. They felt remorse for not having had the courage to express their feelings. They wished they had stayed in closer touch with friends, and they regretted not having let themselves be happier. These are the signs of a life that's lived guided by the ego, not the soul. The soul will never lead you to a life of regrets because it seeks the truth, it seeks purpose, it seeks love, it seeks happiness, it seeks your highest expression. So I'm not saying don't be very detailed and vivid when you're planning, when you're making your intentions, when you're visioning and so on. But don't miss out the step of really, really deeply listening to your awakened heart, to your soul, before you get into all of that detail. And that way you're going to be much more aligned, and the energy and the effort you put in is going to help you really manifest things that are for your highest good. So if you want to do that alignment, you can either do that with me now, or you can do it in your own time. Just come into presence, take a nice deep breath, allow yourself to settle, and you can place a hand in your heart center, just connecting with the awakened heart. And then with your awareness in this energy center, ask yourself, what is my soul's deepest desire? You might want to recall one of those peak experiences, or you might want to just let images or words or emotions to come to you. Don't worry about forcing anything, just let it happen really, really naturally, trusting yourself, trusting this process, and imagine what it feels like for that soul's desire to be fulfilled, not the details, but the emotions. And ask yourself, does this feel expansive? Does this feel deeply true to me? So give yourself permission to create on a soul level. This is a higher level than the mind, okay? Remember, manifesting is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be about feeling. It's supposed to be about mystery and magic. And you want to do it on this level so that the things that you call in are for your highest good. If what you are imagining feels light and fun and exciting and expansive, then you know that you are on the right track. So give it a go and trust yourself, trust that there's a higher timeline for you and that you get to step into it now in perfect alignment, in accordance with all the universal laws of grace that are here to support you forever.